The green fire, inside the narcissist's jealousy and the destruction it breeds. Jealousy is something we all know. It's that quiet sting when someone else gets what we've longed for. The job, the partner, the trip, the dream. It flickers in and out just for a moment, and most of us can admit it. We might laugh and say, "Ugh, I'm so jealous. I wish that were me." Then we move on. Because deep down, healthy people understand that jealousy is just a messenger, a sign pointing towards something we desire or value. As Dr. Brené Brown often says, when we face jealousy honestly, it can become fuel for growth rather than poison. But for the narcissist, jealousy isn't a passing emotion. It's their oxygen, their heartbeat, their silent addiction. What for most people fades in seconds becomes, for them, an endless ache, a hunger that never stops. Dr. Ramani Durvasula describes it as a survival mechanism disguised as emotion. The narcissist's self-worth doesn't come from within. It hangs on a fragile thread of comparison. They don't simply want what others have, they feel attacked that someone else has it. Your success feels like their failure. Your joy feels like their humiliation. That's why narcissists live in a constant state of envy. Not the fleeting kind that passes through you, but the kind that corrodes from the inside out. Psychologists explain that jealousy is about fear, the fear of losing what you have, while envy is about resentment, the anger that someone else has what you don't. The narcissist feels both at once. They envy your confidence, your peace, your love, your light, and they're jealous that your happiness might draw attention away from them. As Dr. Craig Malkin notes, narcissists see love and admiration as limited resources. If someone else receives them, it means there's less left for them. It's this belief that turns ordinary relationships into battlegrounds. A narcissistic parent, for instance, might envy their own child. Dr. Carol McBride writes about this in Will I Ever Be Good Enough? How narcissistic parents see their children not as separate souls, but as mirrors of themselves. When the child begins to shine, instead of feeling pride, the parent feels threatened. "They get that from me," the parent insists, hijacking the credit. What should have been love becomes a competition, and the child, desperate to be seen, grows up carrying the quiet wound of never being allowed to outshine the one who raised them. To outsiders, narcissists often seem charming, even self-deprecating. But behind that facade, envy simmers. It leaks through in sarcastic jokes, subtle jabs, or backhanded compliments. "You're lucky you got that job. I wish I had that kind of free time," they'll say, smiling as if it's nothing. Dr. George Simon calls this covert aggression, hostility disguised as harmlessness. It's their way of wounding you without appearing cruel, cutting you just enough to keep you doubting yourself, while they maintain their mask of innocence. Most people, when jealousy arises, process it quietly. Maybe it hurts for a while, maybe they reflect, maybe they grow. But narcissists can't do that. Their ego won't let them. To reflect means to risk seeing what's broken inside, and that's something their fragile identity cannot survive. As Dr. Heinz Kohut explained, narcissists lack the inner scaffolding to hold difficult emotions. So instead of feeling envy, they project it. They'll accuse you of being jealous of them. It's a mental trick. If they can convince themselves you're the envious one, they don't have to face their own emptiness. This projection often morphs into something darker, what Dr. Ramani calls social assassination. When you've become too successful, too loved, too respected, the narcissist feels the ground under their illusion begin to crack. To protect themselves, they start to destroy you, not physically but socially, emotionally, psychologically. They spread rumors. They twist your words. They bait you into anger, then record your reaction as proof of your instability. Dr. Martha Stout calls this psychological baiting, an emotional trap designed to make you look like the villain while they play the helpless victim. At the core of all this chaos is a warped belief that the world is a zero-sum game, that if someone else wins, they must lose. Psychologists call it scarcity thinking, but the roots go deeper. Dr. Ross Rosenberg describes it as a self-love deficit, a black hole inside them where self-worth should be. Because they have no stable sense of identity, they steal fragments of it from others. They feed off admiration, fear, pity, anything that makes them feel significant, even for a moment. And when envy peaks, that's when they turn cruel. They might sabotage your success, ruin your reputation, even use money or children as weapons. If they can't outshine you, they'll outdestroy you. Psychologists say this is often a defense against what's known as narcissistic collapse, the terrifying internal breakdown that happens when their illusion of control falls apart. To avoid that collapse, they make sure someone else breaks first. But here's the heartbreaking truth beneath it all. Behind the arrogance, the cruelty, and the endless comparisons, there's a terrified child trapped in shame. Dr. Otto Kernberg described it perfectly. Beneath the narcissist's grandiosity lies profound self-hatred. Every act of envy is really an attempt to silence that inner child's fear of worthlessness. But because they refuse to face that fear, they repeat the same cycle endlessly, feeding on others while starving themselves. For those who have loved a narcissist, understanding this isn't about sympathy, it's about survival. Psychologists like Dr. Ramani and Dr. Rosenberg teach that the way out isn't through convincing or changing them. It's through detachment. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You stop reacting. You go gray, calm, flat, unbothered, because every emotional spark you give them becomes fuel. This isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation. Healing from their grip means retraining your own mind and body to feel safe again. Therapy that focuses on trauma and nervous system regulation can help you learn that peace isn't danger, and stillness isn't emptiness. You begin to rebuild the self they tried to dismantle, piece by piece, boundary by boundary, truth by truth. And the most powerful truth of all? Their envy was never about you. It never could be. As Dr. Eleanor Greenberg says, you can't fill a narcissist's emptiness with your empathy. You'll only lose yourself trying. So let them fight their invisible battles. Let them drown in their comparisons. You are not in competition with them, you never were. Your healing begins the moment you step out of the war they keep trying to drag you into. Because while they burn in the fire of envy, you are learning to walk in peace, untouched, unbothered, and finally free. One of the hardest truths survivors ever face is this: you can't save them. You can't love a narcissist into wholeness. You can't pour enough forgiveness or understanding into them to fill that endless hole inside. That void isn't something your love can reach, because it was carved long before you ever arrived. Psychologists often trace it back to childhood, the years when love was either withheld or given with strings attached. Dr. Carol McBride explains that narcissistic traits are born from early emotional neglect or overindulgence, shaping a person who learns to survive not through inner worth, but through the eyes of others. And in some cases, as Dr. Robert Hare notes, that emptiness hardens even further. The empathy wires twist, and compassion turns cold. Whether it's nature, nurture, or both, the outcome looks the same. Someone who can't reflect, can't grow, and ultimately can't love in any real way. If you've ever tried to help one, you know how it feels. You show patience, compassion, understanding, but somehow, every kindness gets twisted into proof that they're right and you're wrong. Dr. Ramani Durvasula calls this gaslight gratitude. When your empathy becomes a weapon they turn against you. You start to wonder if you're the crazy one, if maybe you really are too sensitive or too dramatic. But you're not. You're simply being drained by someone who doesn't want to understand you, only to win. When you try to hold them accountable, something inside them snaps. That flash of rage, cold, sharp, defensive, is what Dr. Heinz Kohut called narcissistic rage. It's shame in disguise. The moment you shine a light on their flaws, you awaken the buried humiliation they spend their lives avoiding. And to protect themselves from that unbearable shame, they project it right onto you. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're too emotional. You're the toxic one. It's a cruel illusion, but it works because it keeps them from facing their pain. Healthy people can feel jealousy, sadness, or insecurity and still use those feelings as fuel to grow. As Dr. Breen Brown puts it, envy can be a map of desire, pointing us toward what we truly value. When a friend succeeds, you might feel a sting, sure, but you can turn that feeling into motivation, a quiet voice saying, I want that too, and I'll work for it. The narcissist can't do that. As Dr. Craig Malkin explains, they have no inner structure to self-soothe. Their sense of worth depends on what others give them. So instead of building themselves up, they tear others down. Your joy threatens them. Your success offends them. They live as if love and admiration were limited resources. If you have them, they must not. And though some may appear powerful or successful, as Dr. Ramani often says, they build empires out of ashes. Their victories come not from creation, but from destruction. If you've ever loved someone like that, you know how their envy seeps into you. It rewires your mind. You start doubting your own instincts, apologizing for your own light. You watch them move on, flaunting a new partner or a new life, and something inside you twists. Not because you want them back, but because it hurts to be so easily replaced. That's not weakness. That's trauma. Psychologists call it reactive jealousy, a normal response to betrayal amplified by manipulation. So when that ache rises, don't push it away. Sit with it. Let it speak. Ask yourself what it's trying to tell you. Maybe it's not about them at all. Maybe it's about what you need: love, safety, belonging. As Dr. Susan David teaches, emotional awareness, not avoidance, is what sets you free. Once you name what you need, you can begin to give it to yourself. And if they've already moved on, don't envy their new partner. Pity them. They're stepping into the same storm you barely escaped. Feel compassion, not resentment. You've seen behind the mask. You know the truth. And if your narcissist is a parent or sibling, the same principle applies. You can love them without losing yourself. As psychologists often say, you can practice radical acceptance, acknowledging that their behavior comes from their wounds, not your worth. The most tragic kind of envy appears in narcissistic parents. Healthy parents glow when their children shine. Narcissistic parents shrink in their shadow. Dr. McBride calls this the inverted mirror. The child's success reflects the parent's loss of control, so they compete instead of celebrate. They turn pride into punishment, and the child learns far too early that love is conditional. But you don't have to live that way. You can choose something different. When envy appears in your own heart toward anyone, use it as a compass, not a curse. Ask yourself, what would it take to feel fulfilled right where I am? That's how you reclaim your power. Dr. Ross Rosenberg calls it self-love abundance, the healing opposite of narcissism. It's the art of building worth from within instead of chasing it from without. Yes, it's unfair. Narcissists often seem to win. They collect followers, sympathy, even success. But time always tells the truth. Their highs never last because the hole inside them never closes. Meanwhile, you, the one who chose healing, begin to grow roots. You become steady, peaceful, real. If you're on that journey, start small. Notice 3 things you're grateful for. 3 moments of peace. 3 reminders that your value was never theirs to give or take. Gratitude reshapes the mind. It builds resilience where they once built fear. In the end, narcissists spend their lives fighting imaginary wars. You don't need to fight with them. You win by walking away, by choosing peace over chaos, truth over illusion, and love over fear. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most beautiful revenge of all, not proving them wrong, but living so authentically that their envy can no longer touch you.